client should have acne on their whole face, but they often don't, do they? I often have it on the jawline. Well, that doesn't make sense. And so the more I looked into it, the more I realized that it wasn't fitting in every circumstance. And people who were taking antibiotics weren't seeing an improvement in their bacterial infections. And then if it was about sebum plugs, well, if it was about sebum plugs, then again, wouldn't I see acne on my whole body? Because that's supposed to be this genetic pre-designed condition of short plugs, whoever had them, I don't know. I mean, we made up stuff to come up with these answers. And we had one specific way, and unfortunately, this is the entire pharmaceutical industry. The primary means by which they treat any condition, and I use treat in very light terms there, is suppressing your immune system. So the design of almost everything you've ever been prescribed, or your clients who are struggling, you can't get better, the entire design is either a steroid, an antibiotic, an acid, benzoyl peroxide, or some sort of horrific immunosuppressing drug like methotrexate or whatever it is. You think they're treating rheumatoid arthritis or psoriasis with something that actually treats the cause? No, they've never been doing that. Every single ingredient was designed to interfere with your immune system, because if they took away the inflammation, then you felt like you were a little bit better. But the problem is, to poison you, which is what you have to do every time you do something that reduces your immune function, it's poisoning you. And so that doesn't work for your overall health, which is why the entire industry is full of pretty modest results and lots of side effects. And skincare was taking on that strategy. So I didn't like where it was going. I didn't like what I was doing as a physician when I was designing chemical peels and I was burning the skin with lasers. I wasn't seeing a net gain. It was a little bit of a look at the waving thing over here while I do the real magic is happening over here. The entire industry was built on I'll just say it, a fraudulent story that generating collagen always makes you younger. But the truth is, they were relying on a very important fact, which is when you hurt your body, particularly since we're in the skin business, when you hurt your skin, it repairs it. It does it instantly, and you can measure it. And really good researchers know if I measure between 24 and 36 hours and I hurt the skin, if I damage collagen, I will see an increase in collagen production because I just created a whole bunch of collagen damage. With the heat of a laser, with the acid of a peel, with the long needle of a microneedling device, there are just so many systems out there on the market today that literally wound the skin because your mind knows one truth. And that is also the secret to great marketing and advertising, is they will rely on the fact that you know that when you stick a needle in your face, collagen is made. It feels right to you. But what you weren't thinking about was that collagen that's going to fix where the needle hole crushed a little, broke a collagen chunk apart? Or was that happening at your dermal level and your skin was going, oh, you poked me with a hole, I'm going to make your dermis thicker. And that should feel like that's not truth to you. Anytime you wound the skin, you will not make your dermis thicker. In fact, your dermis thickening machine is in a constant state of attack. Okay? So imagine this. You live on a day-to-day basis, you have the stress of traffic to work, you're inhaling the carbon monoxide fumes through your ventilation system of your car. I don't mean to depress you all. It's a little depressing. You go out in the sun for too long at lunch. I'm a believer in sun exposure, but of course, you exceed maybe 10-15 minutes, you're now getting into the wound phase of sun exposure if you're not protected. So you eat a hamburger at lunch, or maybe you're trying to be good and you're eating a turkey sandwich, but the turkey sandwich is full of preservatives. The lettuce is full of pesticides. We're exposed to about 1 to 2 million toxins a day. That's what the research says right now. So that is your immune system just taking it all on. And so your immune system is getting hit from left and right, and unfortunately or fortunately, the entire system is one big unit. So as one big unit, when you take in all those other toxins, the unit that is working on your skin is affected as well. So your skin dermal thickening, so that's the storyline we're talking about at the moment, is dermal thickening response, which is an immune system function, okay? All those things like fibroblasts, macrophages, growth factor production, new blood vessel formation, all of that is immune function happening at your skin level. And so when you're sick, if you take, why do you think when you take antibiotics or when you take Motrin that you go out in the sun and you can't handle the sun? Well, that's because you've weakened your immune system. Your skin can't repair the sun damage as fast. So when you're sick, your skin is making less collagen. So now we're aging a little bit faster. And what science tells us, and we've heard this in many classes, I'm sure, is that your dermis is thinning by 1% a year, roughly, starting at about age 25. So at age 50, you have about 25% less dermal thickness than you did at age 25. And if you were unfortunate to be a child who got on Accutane or have a lot of antibiotics, you may have been thinning earlier than 25, but let's go with the average. So you're already losing that battle, again, for all the reasons I just said. And so you can imagine that any other burden on that immune system, any other burden will make 1% turn into 1.05% to 1.1% or 1.3%, and it could slowly, and it could go faster and faster. And you see those people who go through chemotherapy, or they go through any serious illness or any major stressful event in their family, and that they age 5 years. How could that happen that fast? Because the immune system couldn't keep up with the normal maintenance. So that's why trauma will make normal maintenance harder. That's why the whole concept of acids actually will age you faster, because there is nothing in that makes your immune system stronger or better. And that was the premise behind it. And everything I'm telling you, many of you know who've been with me for years, it's slowly but surely I'm figuring it out, I think, more and more precisely. But, I've not ever been a really big trauma guy, but trauma, there's just no way it's going to make your dermal collagen rise up, because what's happening is it's maintaining a certain level of activity. Those fibroblasts, let's say we all make the numbers easy. We all have 10 fibroblasts in our dermis right now, and their maximum capacity, they don't operate at maximum capacity. My estimate is they operate at about 70 or 80% of capacity, so they have emergency reserves. So 70% of capacity, they're churning along. They're relying on the nutrition of the body to feed them. If we have poor nutrition, things fall apart. But they're relying on that, and then all of a sudden they get hit by a sunburn or an acid peel or a laser, and they immediately start redirecting their attention from that dermal thickening maintenance to wound repair maintenance. They cannot do both. There is no capacity built in to do both of those, and so they have to make a choice. Your skin makes a choice every day. And that's really what we're here to talk about today, is what are the choices that your skin is faced with, and how can we give it the tools, take away some of the burdens in order to maximize the repair of the skin in a permanent way. And that's something, if you leave here with one thing, if you don't know much about osmosis, we promise permanent changes, because we aren't doing it. Your skin is doing it. That's the thing, is nothing you see from us is some magic trick. I hate to tell you this. Well, we're going to get into all the different ingredients and the stories with the ingredients and why an ingredient works or it doesn't work. And you can tell me if that fits with your experience, but that is how I've always been, is like, well, if that's true, that's a great story. If that story is true, then it should be true all the time. Was that client seeing that result? Where's the hole in it? And I have my cases today. I was trying to figure out why a woman had melasma and she had never been on birth control. She got it in her 20s. When you get melasma tells you the times in the year or two before that, chances are, is when you did your liver damage. And there wasn't a good explanation of what she did during that time that caused that liver damage. Sometimes I run into that, not very often, but sometimes I do. And so in those cases, I just know, we don't know when those things come along in our lives where, that's right, I did have a strep infection and I took 2 weeks of antibiotics, and who remembers that at age 25? I don't remember all the things I did at that age. So I think there's going to be some of that happens, you know. Sometimes we tell people, oh, you have acid reflux because I can tell by what your skin's doing on your face. And today we're going to talk about how you map the face and figure out exactly where things are happening, or I shouldn't say exactly, but for the most part. And but not everybody feels acid reflux, so they don't even know they have acid reflux. And that is true in the medical world. We know that at least a third of the time people don't have the symptoms to feel that. So, you know, I'll take this a step further and tell you that I don't just want you to be getting amazing results, I want you to be incredibly happy. You know, one of the things that's happened to me over the last few years is I am just ecstatic every day. I enjoy what I do, I enjoy helping people, and I didn't see that in a lot of the estheticians that I was working with. I won't say a lot, but there's a significant minority of you that just don't love what you do. And one of the cool things about osmosis, I think, is you adopt a philosophy, you take on a deeper level of concern and capability with your clients, and you're able to do more. And that brings a greater sense of accomplishment and joy. And I use a big word there. I use the word healer. And it scares people. It's like, I'm not a physician, I'm not trained as a healer. But just remember that by taking the burden away from their bodies, by giving their body the tools to function at a higher level, their body's the healer. That's what I was trying to say earlier. When we get permanent results, we're not throwing the magic potion into the skin. We're just making the skin as healthy as possible, because at its healthiest state, it will do the most repair. At its healthiest state, it will re-thicken its own dermis. We're seeing that in our clients and just about everybody. And so if you're not seeing that, you have to start looking at their lives and figure out what is it, how heavily is stress a burden on their lives? What is it that makes that difference? And from that change in your career, from that change in your own mentality, I think you can live in so much more happiness. And that's really the end game. And watch it be infectious to your clients and impacting their lives. So now we have to talk about something that is a little crazy. It's really, it's something that I learned not too many years ago. And by the way, all these slides are available to you. Just let our people know at the booth or here that you want a copy of the slide sent to you. But the truth of the matter is your body has 100 trillion cells in it, and 90 trillion of those cells are these foreign bacteria that don't even have your DNA. 90 trillion cells. And so it's very telling. It's telling on so many fronts. It tells you how careful you have to be with the use of antibiotics, because you've got all these bugs in your body that are working on your behalf in this biosphere of activity. But what's even more powerful to me is the concept of consciousness, because you can't have bugs helping you digest food and resolve your cholesterol problems and helping you control the brain activity. All the bugs are part of all of these aspects of your lives. You know, and I say bugs, but they're part of our body, they're part of our tissue, and yet they're doing it somehow knowing what to do. And there's a few examples in nature where we see that. If you see a flock of birds flying in a perfect arrow formation in the sky, that is scientifically impossible to explain, because there's no way birds can maintain the precision that they do without all being connected and knowing exactly where they're going, up, down, left, or right. Same thing is true with a school of fish. When you see a school of fish darting in the ocean, there's no way that the last fish could be staying in unison with the front fish from a nerve reaction, visual eye to action. That is a sign of conscious connection. Those fish are connected and telepathically communicate. So I'm just telling you, your body is operating from a telepathic method. Each of your cells are communicating with the other cell in an instant way. That's the only way to explain how 90 trillion bugs are all operating in your best and highest good. This is fact. I'm not telling you made up stuff. The consciousness part may not be part of what the scientists talk about, but the 90 trillion bugs in your body really do exist. So that's important from a lot of perspectives. One of the harder things to treat for some of your clients is when they come in and they are full of sadness or stress, and that is impacting their skin or impacting their body or impacting their desire to get better or many different things. And I just want you to know it's real. And today we're going to talk about scalar waves. Scalar waves are the waves that make up your